Rome wasn't just a city. It was a machine, a war machine. And this machine didn't rust. It conquered 3 continents. It stood for 500 years and shaped our world so much that we're still talking about it today. But how did this machine keep ticking? How did Rome never give up? And what can we learn from them today? Today in unbelievable history. Ever heard the phrase, "To the victor the spoils"? If you have, then you probably already know that history is written by the victors. But if you want to understand Rome, you've got to look at the other side of the coin. Imagine being part of the Roman army in its glory days, like during the rule of Augustus or Trajan. Your uniform is top-notch, your weapons are the best, and everyone respects Rome. You might think that this alone made Rome strong, but that's only half the story. The real secret sauce is what happened when things got tough. Let's take the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BC. The Roman general, a guy named Crassus, went head-to-head with the Parthians. And let me tell you, those Parthians were no joke. They were masters of cavalry warfare, and they taught Crassus and his legions a hard lesson. We're talking about a crushing defeat, one of the worst in Roman history. So what was different about this battle? What made Rome lose so badly? Well, this battle was a clash of styles. Rome was all about those heavy infantry, the guys with the big shields and swords. But against the Parthian horse archers, they were in trouble. Those Parthians were fast, accurate, and relentless. They kept poking the Romans and then scooting away before the Romans could do anything about it. Crassus and his men tried their best, but it was like trying to catch smoke. And because of this, the Romans suffered one of their most shameful defeats ever. But here's where things get interesting. After this defeat, instead of throwing in the towel, Rome took a good hard look at itself. They analyzed their loss, pinpointed their weaknesses, and came up with strategies to tackle them. This wasn't just a one-off thing. This was part of the Roman way of life. They had a system, a way of thinking that helped them adapt and overcome any challenge. Meet Gaius Marius, one of Rome's greatest generals, a man who saw his share of battles. In the late 2nd century BC, Rome was locked in a serious struggle with the Cimbri and Teutones, 2 fierce tribes from what's now Germany and Denmark. These guys were known for their ferocity and their love for a good fight. And let me tell you, they gave the Romans a run for their money. Marius was there on the front lines. He watched his soldiers struggle, and he saw how these tribes operated. And after some time, he realized that Rome needed to change its strategy. The way the Cimbri and Teutones fought was all about speed and flexibility. They used light armor and wielded long spears and swords. This made them really tough to beat. The traditional Roman way of fighting, relying on heavy infantry and big shields, just wasn't cutting it. So what did Marius do? He adapted. He introduced changes to the Roman army that were unheard of at the time. For starters, he started recruiting soldiers from the lower classes in Rome. This opened the door for social mobility and brought a bunch of new blood into the army. Next, he changed the way soldiers were armed. He introduced the gladius, a shorter sword that was more useful in tight spaces, and he replaced the big tower shields with smaller ones, making the soldiers more agile. This overhaul in tactics and strategy was revolutionary, and it showed the world that Rome wasn't just a powerhouse, it was also adaptable and willing to change. After implementing these reforms, the tables turned. Rome began to dominate. The Cimbri and Teutones, once the bullies on the block, were sent back home with their tails between their legs. This victory wasn't just a military win. It was a testament to Rome's ability to learn, to evolve, and to conquer new challenges. It showed that Rome wasn't afraid to change, to experiment, and to push the boundaries of what was possible. And that's a lesson we can all learn from. No matter how strong or successful we are, we need to be willing to change, to adapt, and to evolve if we want to keep winning. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the logistics behind this machine. To understand Rome, you can't just look at the battlefield tactics. You've got to see the bigger picture. You've got to understand the supply chain, the infrastructure, the organization. Because without these three, Rome wouldn't have been able to go the distance. In the ancient world, logistics was everything. It was the oil that kept the machine running. And Rome knew this. Take, for example, the famous Roman roads. They weren't just for walking or for chariots. They were designed to move troops quickly and efficiently. These roads connected far-flung corners of the empire, allowing troops to reach distant battlefields in record time. Without this efficient transportation system, Rome's legions would have been vulnerable to attacks, and its supply lines would have crumbled. But Rome wasn't just about building roads. They were masters of planning and organization. Think about it. Running an army isn't just about having a great battle plan. It's about feeding, clothing, and arming thousands, even hundreds of thousands of soldiers. It's about keeping track of supplies, making sure everyone is in the right place at the right time. This takes a lot of manpower and expertise, and Rome had both in spades. They had a vast network of supply depots and distribution centers that ensured that every soldier got what he needed. And they had a team of experts, administrators, logisticians, engineers, all working in harmony to keep the army running like clockwork. But what about when Rome hit the road? I mean, conquering new lands is all well and good. But how did they keep their troops fed and happy while they were on the march? Well, Rome had that covered too. They established supply stations, these little posts where soldiers could grab food and supplies as they traveled. And these stations weren't just for the troops. They also served the local populations, fostering goodwill and cooperation. However, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. There were times when Rome's logistics faltered. There were instances of supply shortages, of corruption and mismanagement. But Rome didn't panic. They addressed the issues head-on, tweaking their systems, punishing wrongdoers, and coming up with innovative solutions. They introduced accounting rules, standardized supply procedures, and set up independent auditing systems to keep everyone in check. This commitment to transparency and accountability helped Rome maintain its military edge, even in the face of challenges. As we wrap up our discussion about Rome's impressive endurance, it's essential to remember that their success wasn't based on sheer brute force. They combined strength with strategy, innovation and adaptability. They understood the importance of logistics, the value of planning, and the necessity of constant improvement. Rome's legacy isn't just about the ruins we see today. It's about the lessons we can learn. It's about understanding that true strength comes not just from power, but from the ability to learn, to adapt, and to evolve. In today's world, where challenges are complex and competition is fierce, Rome's approach offers a timeless guide. Whether you're leading a team, a country, or even an empire, remember the lessons of Rome. Be adaptable, be strategic, and always be ready to learn and grow. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is greatness. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to learn from both victories and defeats. So, let Rome's story be your inspiration. Let it remind you that with the right combination of strength, strategy, and perseverance, you can overcome any obstacle and achieve your goals. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you amazing historical tales. And hey, if you have an idea for a topic that we should cover, leave it in the comments below. Who knows, your suggestion might become the next episode of Unbelievable History. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.